This week, Gen X got sucker punched. Hulk Hogan, the bleach blonde, mahogany tan wrestling legend, he passed away from cardiac arrest at the age of 71. Malcolm Jamal Warner, TV's lovable Theo Huxtable, tragically passed away in a drowning accident at the age of 54. Ozzy Osbourne, heavy metal legend, passed away at 76. All gone within days of each other. In the last 5 years, Gen X has lost so many iconic people who seemed eternal to us kids. We lost George Wendt, Norm from Cheers, Shannon Doherty, Brenda Welsh from Beverly Hills 90210, Michael Madsen earlier this month, Val Kilmer in April, Gene Hackman in February, Michelle Trachtenberg also in February. I can keep going. I think we lost Terry Garr last October, James Earl Jones, Richard Simmons, Donald Sutherland, Carl Weathers, Matthew Perry, Suzanne Summers, Bob Barker, Paul Rubens, Tina Turner. That's in the last couple of years, you guys. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, those were household names. We watched them on TV, heard them on the radio. I think we all understand that we're losing some of these people to time, right? But others are gone tragically far too young. I would say even Hulk Hogan's passing yesterday at 71 was shocking. 71 isn't that old, you guys. And I can understand being in your 90s, but it's so much harder to accept when you hear someone's gone in their 70s, especially today. Do you guys agree? I understand, underlying medical conditions, they exist, and some of our icons really live life to their fullest, right? But 3 legends in 1 week. I think us Gen Xers are really feeling our mortality right now. It just feels unreal. It's like someone hit Control-Alt-Delete, on our childhood. And it's only natural that Gen X feels collectively stunned. I remember how shaken I was back in 2016 when we lost Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, and George Michael within 2 days of each other. And I have friends and followers that, reach out to me or DM me and they ask me, what happened? What do you think happened, etc. And it feels like when you hear that, you're just really stunned and not really sure how to respond. And I know some of you watching this right now are wondering, why does this matter? Why should you even be concerned about this, or why should anybody care? Life goes on. People are born and they pass away. Well, my response to that is, Gen X, we didn't just watch these people. We grew up with them, and we watched them grow older. They were the voices in our Walkmans, the faces on our bedroom posters, so you can see here, the characters we quoted in the lunchroom to our friends. Their films or songs, they got us through things. Our awkward teen phases, our heartbreaks, and more than that. And their films, they made us laugh or feel and learn about the world and expand our imaginations. In a time before algorithms curated our memories, these icons were our culture. So when we lose one, it's not just a celebrity dying, it's like a piece of our foundation quietly crumbling. A flicker from a time that felt safe, exciting, and full of possibility just suddenly goes out. And when enough flickers go out, the room gets darker. And we can't help but feel a little more alone in it. We don't mourn them because they were famous. We mourn them because they were familiar to us. And through that shared experience of an entire generation, they sort of helped raise us. We're a weird generation. Gen Xers can admit this. Latchkey kids with MTV burned into our brains. So pop culture wasn't just the TV. It was something sewn into our being. And younger generations, they just can't understand this because there is so much out there for them that they don't necessarily have a collective mind when it comes to their history and pop culture. Gen X views social media very differently. We just do. We view it in a very cautionary way. Whenever one of our celebrities checks out, the platforms light up instantly. Also, let me put this out there. We are fully aware we didn't know Terry, Hulk Hogan, Bollea, or most of these folks in real life, but it still hurts like we did. It's interesting. Today, I do know a few celebrities through my online platform. So I'm sure this will change things slightly when the time comes that they are no longer with us. I don't even want to think about that, to be honest. Gen X's inner cynic would usually roll eyes at this kind of public mourning. But honestly, I can't. I have to give us this time. Every time one of our icons leaves, it's a little reminder that our own time is limited here. And my wife asked me how I was holding up after Hulk Hogan passed. And honestly, I was a little surprised with that question, touched even, that she took it seriously. But at the same time, it did feel kind of silly. I mean, it's Hulk Hogan, right? A larger-than-life character of a man from our youth. But the more I sat with it, the more I realized it shouldn't feel silly. You see, these people, these icons we grew up with, weren't just pop culture wallpaper. They are real. Maybe not the character or persona they play, but the person is real. They are the only ones that can bring the characters we love to life and death. These people, they have families and friends who love them, flaws and all. And when they pass, especially after being part of our emotional architecture for decades, it's okay to feel something, to mourn, not just for them, but with their families, even if it's from a distance. And honestly, I don't think my wife would have ever asked me that if I hadn't spent the last 5 years writing about and building a community around nostalgia and our shared memories. That 80s dude is who I am. And everyone that reads or watches my content knows that that guy in the logo and that shares all these shared memories, the people all around the world, that's still me. It's John. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Shared memories, connecting with others who felt the same joy, the same losses, that's powerful. Somewhere along the way, this stopped being just a hobby and became a kind of collective, a love letter to this generation trying to hold on to what shaped us. And it's okay to grieve together. When one of our people goes down, it hits different for us. Because you know what? It's not just nostalgia. We have worn our history, good, bad, and weird, through all of these years. And it's a true reminder that legends are human and that time is moving faster than we want to admit. But you know what? I think there's a silver lining in all of this. If anything, the losses remind us of how much these icons we admired, or maybe didn't admire, but certainly were fixtures of our childhood, meant to us and our shared history. You know, this week I found myself playing a few Ozzy tracks that I used to listen to when I was a kid. Now, I was never really a huge fan of his music, but I certainly do remember a few of those tracks, and I enjoyed them, you know? And I also shared a few of my favorite memories of the Hulkster on my social media and with my kids, and you're welcome to check that out on my Instagram. And I even played a couple of episodes of The Cosby Show. You know, it's interesting, in their absence, we seem to celebrate them more, share their stories, crank up their music. It's how we turn a funeral into a party of remembrance, I think, as Gen X. You know, we're also getting a reminder to seize our own day, right? You know, if these legends can die in a week, maybe I should stop procrastinating on finishing my audiobook, for example, or plan that trip to Catalina Island with my wife. I'm sure you have plenty of things you want to do. You know, Gen X, we're a bit anxious. And I'll be the first to tell you that we've got that midlife weirdness, right? You know, I know we all lack sleep, can get cranky sometimes about certain things. But I think overall we're a positive generation that still feels 16 at heart. We know how to mix the melancholy with a dose of urgency, but still keep our gaze on the important things around us. We love our family and our friends. And in the end, we soldier on with a mix of humor and heart. Yeah, it's sad, but also oddly comforting to know we aren't alone in feeling this way. The Gen X community, although global and scattered, is the generation that has changed the world. And now it's up to us to carry the indomitable spirit of our childhood legends forward, and maybe pretend we didn't just cry over an Instagram tribute. So here's to Gen X's passing childhood. We'll tell our kids about them when a rerun comes on in the same reverent but casual way our parents told us about the Beatles and Lucille Ball or John Wayne. We will do it with a grin and a shake of the head and a few personal stories sprinkled in. Because ultimately, the show must go on, even if some of the important cast members have left. As for me, and I'm sure many others, I'm lighting a candle for the icons that made being a Gen X kid feel like we were part of something amazing. And we'll keep that flame going, for them and for us. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to like it. And I would be grateful if you subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Stay rad.